Two police officers turned keys at the same time and reopened the hatch. A seat was slid up to the doorway. Fully armed officers, from a distance, inserted a custom locking device. A specially made prisoner garment was fitted. A man, bound head to toe and wearing a face mask, was slowly led off the truck. They escorted him to the airborne prison holding the other inmates. But as soon as he boarded the plane, he was released. A guard carefully pulled back the mask, and Grimm immediately recognized the guard as an imposter. The airborne prison had already fallen under the control of the inmates. The takeover was completed quickly. Police cars drove away one by one. The officers still transporting the remaining prisoners discovered a tape recorder. They hurriedly contacted headquarters, suspecting the prisoners had taken control of the plane. But it was already too late. The plane had taken off. Watching the cheering prisoners, Appa realized the plan had failed, but he didn't want to give up, because barring any unexpected events, he was supposed to be released today. He immediately decided to speak with the leader of all the prisoners. He learned they planned to fly to the border airfield and then switch to another private plane, but the plane developed a problem. Something jammed the landing gear. Appa and another man went down to check and found that the obstruction was a corpse. Appa suddenly had a bright idea. While the prisoner were distracted, he quietly wrote a clue on the body with a pen. Then they quickly tossed the corpse off the plane. Seeing the clue written on the clothing, the police called the chief and told him to head to the border airfield immediately. But the only helicopter was already in the air, tracking the signal. The guard suggested he drive, since driving might get him to the airport faster. The chief paused to think for a moment, then turned and took off. Seeing his own beat-up car, he hesitated briefly but chose the boss's flashy supercar instead. When he arrived early at the airfield, then he heard a roar as plane touched down. This airfield had been abandoned for years, and the runway was cluttered with debris. The pilot had to make an emergency maneuver. The chief leaned out to look and nearly had his hand sliced off by a wing. Luckily, the pilot braked in time. The plane stopped with less than 2 meters to spare in front of a huge gas tank. The cabin door opened slowly and everyone climbed out. But the son of the rescued mob boss told the inmate leader that the pickup plane would be delayed. The leader had no choice but to wait. But after a long time, there was still no sign of the pickup. So they decided to change plans and pulled the other plane out. At that moment, the inmate on lookout spotted thick smoke in the distance. It looked like the police had located them. They would arrive here within 10 minutes.